welcome to 5 Minute Salute. I'm your host, Chris Budihas. Today's session is sponsored by the Military Affairs and Veterans Department of the City of Jacksonville. Harrison Conyers and the team squaring away our veterans with the benefits they earn through their military service. Talking about veterans, we have Chuck up in Seattle, Washington with SaaSEnable. So, Chuck, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Chris.
No, hey, appreciate you coming on to tell your story. So tell the audience where you're originally from and what you do in the military.
Absolutely. I got my start. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, of all places. I got my military start at the United States Military Academy, Go Army. And from there, I became an artillery officer. Go Army, beat Navy, absolutely, sir. And then was stationed over in Germany. Fought in the first Gulf War, and then after that went back to Germany before getting stationed over in Fort Lewis. Fell in love with the Pacific Northwest, and now I'm up in Seattle, Washington.
That's wonderful. You still have a little bit of that Milwaukee twang, by the way. But yeah, I love that part of the country.
Can't get rid of it.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's funny. We're about the same age. I was in the Gulf War too, the WW Gulf War. I appreciate, number one, your service to the nation, and then two, what you've done in order to, in your post-military career, to advance, other companies. So let's talk about SaaSEnable. What do you guys do, and how did you get in this space?
Absolutely. My career post-military, like a lot of Gulf vets, I did my 5 years, and then according to Clinton, there was going to be no more wars, so they encouraged a lot of us to get out. And so I got out and, immediately went into the tech sector. I spent 20 years at ADP, the big payroll giant, before pivoting at the 20-year mark into pre-IPO tech companies. And I found my niche at that point. I'd always been in sort of sales leadership, and then sales operations, sales enablement, helping build sales teams. And I found that, like in the Army, the S3, the ops piece was sort of my love. And so I spent the next 10 plus years helping pre-IPO companies. For those that don't know what IPO is, being the early stage tech companies go from founder-led sales to the point where they think about either going public or taking a lot of other investor money on. And I helped teams grow from like 10, 20 salespeople up to 400 or 500 salespeople. And I've successfully done that across about 4 or 5 other companies before. At a point, Chris, we're both at the age where we sit there and go, do I really want to work for other people, or should I take my skill set and sort of, write the book that no one wants to read and then start to do fractional consulting? And so that's what I pivoted to about a year and a half ago, and then founded SaaSEnable with a partner of mine. And now what I do is I go into earlier stage tech companies, and I use my 30 years of experience along with my partner. And what we do is we help founders really sit there and figure out and map out, how do you go from that early set of sales and processes to start building their sales teams, their technology sales teams, and get them to grow? How do you put in the right technology? How do you put in the right structures, the right compensation plans, the right hiring guides, and really get that journey going from anybody who touches the customer, from marketing to sales to customer success, and get it so it's a repeatable, scalable process. And that's what my team does.
That's huge. Chuck, number one, it's fascinating, right? I mean, as a small company, and I told some folks, they're like, how hard is it to start your own company? I'm like, it's easy starting a company, especially in Florida. I did it in 24 hours. It's actually running your company. And then the way you provide, I mean, you can walk in the dark and think you're moving forward. In reality, you probably, went around the tree twice and you're going in the wrong direction. But you come in there, you help them set the conditions because you got the experience, because you, like you said, multiple decades in this space. It's for moving into an IPO with success and having a strategy in place to get there. So that's great. How have you seen the tech industry change, over, the last 20 plus years, specifically in the space that you operate in, helping these companies? And how does that inform what you're doing now with your business?
Well, it's really interesting, Chris. What's happening right now is we see they say it's really easy to get your first couple of $1 million in sales in tech. People are curious. They want the latest technology that's out there. But going from that $5 to $8 million to that, doubling that to the $10 to $16 million, that's where the tires fall off of a lot of startups. And it's trying to put the processes in place and scale beyond that first passion of the founder to get other people to sell. Regular salespeople off the street to have that same passion and the same process and know how to take it and scale those that message and the product set, and stay focused on a consistent, repeatable product. And so what I've seen over the past, I'd say, decade, and it's really changed in the past, I would say 6 years, is there was a lot of VC money. There was a lot of money that was being thrown at, if you said that you had a technology, companies with, venture capitalists would throw money at you in order for you to try to get market share. The first one that had the most seats or the most customers was the one that won. But the challenge is they were buying market share. They weren't necessarily good or great, and they weren't profitable. They were hemorrhaging money, so they kept needing more and more infusions of capital. But the challenge is that when we had the interest rates go up and the recession happened a little bit, and I wouldn't really call it a recession, but there was a real consciousness that investors were like, hey, we want to see a return on our investment. Now that money is tight, we don't want to see market share. We want to see profitable customers. Well, this is a radical change. You've got to now be smart with the money that you're spending. You've got to be smart with what you're selling, and you can't just sell everybody. Because sometimes it costs as much to get a $5,000 client as it does a $100,000 client, as far as effort and marketing and all this stuff. But, a $5,000 client is not going to bring in the revenue that a $100,000 client is on a piece of software. So you got to be a little bit more judicious and know who you're going after and really target the right kind of customers and sell in the right kind of way to get the best customers in the door. And that pivot is one of the things that we're seeing. And so when shifting it around and getting a tighter focus. Do you remember the great movie, The Patriot, with Mel Gibson? Aim small, hit small, where he was trying to teach you how to shoot? That's one of the fundamental principles that we try to teach salespeople, is to really tighten up their focus on who they're selling to and the processes that they're using in order to go after the marketplace that they want to hit. In the past, it was, machine gun it out there. Just get out there. Talk to everybody, talk to anyone, and anybody who will, fog a mirror and buy would be a great customer. Get it in. But now it's aim small, hit small. Aim at the very best customers. Take care of the very best customers. And that's the best way to grow, because you're going to be getting the customers who are profitable to you. And then you can build on to the next customer and expand your marketplace with your product smartly, instead of just trying to tailor to every customer just because you can. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should. And those are the things that we're working with founders on earlier stage technologies, because they built a technology and said, hey, I've got this great idea. There's so many different ways that I can adapt it. Sure, we can do this. Sure, we can do this. But a company's going to succeed on as much of what they say no to as what they say yes to. And we're helping companies work with that as well, to tighten up who are the right customers, what's the right way to sell them, and then how do you bring in more people to be able to scale that and help them grow the right way.
I love everything you're saying, because I think this is a learning opportunity for entrepreneurs out there, because you look at the TAM, SAM, SOM, and then each part of your lead gen, lead nurture, lead capture. I've seen this with different friends of mine in my network, is they go after whoever's going to give them business. But what they realize is, first of all, it was a poor marriage in the first place. So you spend a lot more time and money and heartache dealing with people that you don't want to deal with, or they don't have the capacity to really use what you use, and the ability to kind of filter who is the right folks, which you've articulated very well. And then that allows you to have year-on-year customers or clients in a partnership, rather than the one-offs where you got somebody, but they're only good for a short duration, and was your time well spent? So I love what you're saying, because there's some actual purposefulness in how you're looking at what you're doing, how you're doing, and your ability to help the entrepreneur, that small startup to, I'd call it small to medium or schmedium company, no doubt there's a value proposition you guys are bringing in, because you are tested in this space already just by the number of years you've had. So no doubt you've seen this, these movies play over and over and over. And I love your analogy with aim small, aim small, hit small. That there's something to be said there, especially in this nature. And you see it with specifically like LinkedIn, where you see the scatter shot, where we're all getting all this messaging, where you're just trying to shoot the shotgun and hope you hit something. In many cases, you don't. And sometimes people are going to close the door and block you, right? So that's something you want to make sure you're not doing as part of your pipeline. Well, Chuck,
Chris,
how do folks find you and how they find the company? Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. How they find me is, SaaSEnable. Can't believe that I got that name out there to make it easy. What do? Is I help software as a service technology, and I enable them. So the company's name is SaaSEnable. So it's www.saasenable.com. Or you can look me up on LinkedIn, send me a direct message that way. Those are two great ways to get a hold of me.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be more than happy to start a conversation if this is something that we can help someone who's in the technology space looking to take themselves from founder-led sales to scale it.
Appreciate it. Chuck, number one, thank you for your service to the nation. Number two, thanks for coming on the show to tell your post-military journey and what you're doing to help other companies become better versions of themselves and be more profitable in this space. I'm definitely going to send you a link to come on Tech Champions this summer to kind of continue this conversation. So look forward to staying in contact. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for what you're doing with the veterans. We appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Hey, folks, I'd highly encourage you to take a look at our show notes, connect with Chuck on LinkedIn, take a look at his company. A lot to unpack there specifically, especially for a small business owner, to kind of purposely think through what he was telling you as you take a look at your sales pipeline and as you move towards an IPO, who can come in to help you with that expertise. Try and learn on your own or hire somebody in many cases to be part of your staff permanently. Number one, may not be cost effective. Number two, may actually be ineffective in many cases. But with somebody like Chuck, who's got multi-decades experience in this space, he can get you to where you need to be in a very profitable way. So we'll see our next segment. Live with gratitude.
When they leave us for battle, we await their return. When their embrace is gone, we imagine them with us. Some don't come back. We grieve. Some come back hurting. We help. Heroes survive. We honor them. Heroes fall. We remember them. 150,000 veterans live in Jacksonville. We serve them. We're the Military Affairs and Veterans Department, City of Jacksonville. Because of them, our light never dims.